Welcome back to the Exceed Business Channel and the Ask Jim series. I'm your host, Jim Hazboun, and I'm CEO of Exceed. On the Ask Jim series, we strive to answer questions from leaders about leadership and business and provide no fluff, really actionable answers. So our question today comes from a CEO of a global manufacturing company based in Chicago. And she writes, "Dear Jim, we've built what I think is a brilliant strategy. The vision is clear, the board has bought in, but quarter after quarter, we're still missing our targets. What are we missing? What are we doing wrong?" It's a great question, and it reminds me of a story of JCPenney under Ron Johnson. Ron Johnson was a gifted leader, had a storied tenure at Apple, and had joined JCPenney with a bold new vision and strategy. Ron was brought in to revamp the brand. His strategy was bold. No more discounts, sleek store designs, and a modern customer experience. This all sounded great. The board loved the strategy, and Wall Street bought in. So how did it go? Well, operationally, it was a disaster. The front line wasn't trained to execute on this strategy. The customer wasn't informed, and so there was a huge disconnect between what JCPenney used to be and where it wanted to go. And then lastly, the infrastructure couldn't support this new direction. So within 2 years, JCPenney lost $4 billion and almost ceased to exist. So here's an example of a great strategy with zero executional readiness. The metaphor that I like to use is that of a football team. So the coaching staff can come up with the most brilliant playbook. It could be something of beauty and science, but if you're not able to execute on that playbook, you're dead in the water. If you don't have the right talent to execute on it, you're dead in the water. Think of a playbook that requires the quarterback to be a running quarterback. And if you have, a 6'6", 270-pound quarterback that is lumbering and can't run, no matter how hard he tries, he's not going to be able to execute on that strategy. If your quarterback doesn't know the reads, if your offensive line doesn't hold the pocket, if your wide receivers run the wrong routes, you're dead in the water. Your drive stalls, you punt, you lose. Think of it as strategy as your playbook, but execution wins the game. So let's get to the heart of the matter. Here's the questions I would ask you if I was meeting with your leadership team. Can each of your leaders translate that strategy into actionable items that move that strategy forward in their respective areas? Can they draw a hard line directly from that strategy down to their initiatives, their work, and their deliverables? If not, that's a huge problem. Do you have the right players in the right positions? Again, this is critical, going back to the football metaphor. You have to have the right talent in place to be able to match that strategy and to be able to execute on that. And if you don't, again, that is a problem. Third question. Is there direct accountability by someone? Does someone own the execution of the strategy? These distributed ownerships among large leadership teams don't work because everyone can pass the buck back and forth. I wasn't able to do this because this person didn't do their job. You need to have a sponsor for that initiative, that strategy, and you have to have extreme ownership around it. The old adage of having one throat to choke is harsh, but it means something. You have to have direct accountability. Number 4, are you making adjustments in real time? No matter how well thought out a strategy is, the market dynamics shift. The world changes and evolves and moves so quickly that you have to be hypersensitive to what's happening in the market and in your industry and with your competitors. And so you have to be prepared to make adjustments. Again, you see this in football. Every great coaching team will go in at halftime. They'll measure how their strategy was being executed in the first half. They'll notice the defense had done things to counter, certain strategies. And so they make adjustments. And this is a perfect example when you see a team, go in with a strong strategy. They limp along in the first half and then come back in the second half and just blow the opponent away. And that's because they're evolving. They're making real-time adjustments. And that's something that you and your leadership team have to be prepared to do. And number 5, is your organization prepared to play all 4 quarters of the game? Do they have the stamina to not just have a quick start and then fade away, but month after month, quarter after quarter, keep hammering that strategy, keep executing on it, keep adjusting it, keep moving forward? That kind of strategic stamina is critical to be able to get the kind of results you need for any kind of strategy. As Coach Bear Bryant once said, the will to win is not as important as the will to prepare to win. So preparation is everything. And that is the difference between a visionary and a victor. Now, if your strategy looks great on paper, but fails on the field, don't rewrite the playbook. Refocus on execution. At Exceed, we help leadership teams operationalize their strategy into results with discipline, accountability, and momentum. If you'd like to learn more, visit us at exceedsolutions.com. And if you've got a leadership question, please send it in. I'm your host, Jim Hazboun, and this is Ask Jim, where we lead smarter together.